What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Last week we ended up nailing the trade on NFP where we were aiming for a 2R. I told you guys that I would start live trading I would post all of my entries on Twitter, and that is exactly what we did. Honestly guys, you guys really made me proud because this is the literal most amount of messages I've ever seen, or rather most replies of people that I've seen who actually took the setup and made money. Like, I'm so happy that you guys actually understand, what to look for now. And from what I can see, you guys are starting to have a more systematic approach when it comes to trading. Anyways, if you would like to follow along the live trades that I do make on this channel, or just hear my thoughts on altcoins or just any other ideas outside of Bitcoin, then I'm going to be posting them mostly on X. So feel free to follow me there at _the_art_of_crypto. I will link this down in the description box below. But today we're going to talk about Bitcoin. Today we're going to also talk a little bit about Ethereum as well as Solana, because truthfully, there's just not too much going on with Bitcoin at the moment to where I can just Today's Monday. We do not have news today, and price action does not seem to be particularly interesting either, but I'm still going to give you the overall breakdown. First things first, let's kick things off with Bitcoin on the weekly chart. So right now, we are still within this bullish order block right here. So far, we have started bouncing out of this bullish order block, which if you guys recall from the last, couple of weeks to 3 weeks, I've been saying hey, the price is going to retrace here, and then we're going to continue on with the bull run. Essentially, if you take a look at the overall market structure, as well as the overall order flow, the situation on Bitcoin is actually looking more bullish than ever. So far, you are still maintaining higher highs and higher lows. Until that gets breached, you are definitely still looking to buy the dip and just sell higher. In this case, this would be that dip zone. Now, in the past, the bottoms have always came in the form of fair value gaps, where that right there is a fair value gap. If I were to go a little bit behind again, that's going to be another fair value gap. And this low right here also happens to coincide with a fair value gap. So at the moment, if we start bouncing from this weekly bullish order block, because we one of the first times so far throughout this bull run where we're going to bounce from a bullish order block instead of a fair value gap, which is fine. They're both the same. If you ever had a question about, should you be prioritizing order blocks or should you be prioritizing fair value gaps, the truth is both of them are considered PD arrays, which means they're just areas where you look for price to come into where you will expect some kind of reaction. They're both valid, and it's not people that tell you, fair value gaps are better than order blocks, or order blocks are better than fair value gaps. They aren't true. So don't believe it. Both are valid. It just comes down to the way that you use it. And again, super proud of all of you guys, especially last Friday. I remember having dinner, and as I was reading the comments, I came back to the post and there were 15 comments, and that was, I think, to recent memory, one of the highest amount of replies that I've gotten on a tweet, and all of them were just yo, I saw the CISD, I took it, and I got some profit. You have no idea how proud that makes me feel, because, every day I'm trying, break down the system for you guys, and to see you guys actually, use it, to be able to identify the setup and then, take the setup and actually make money. It's a bit of a, proud that moment. But outside of that, just understand that in terms of the high time frame, you are going to look to bounce in terms of Bitcoin. And until this block gets breached, basically, you're still good and you're expecting things to go higher. Anyways, last week's candle closed bullish, which is a really good sign, which means that this week we can reasonably anticipate the weekly candle to close towards the upside, or rather to go towards the upside. And right now, there's not too much information yet. Granted, the week has just started. So let's try to zoom in onto the daily chart to see if there's anything interesting going on. So far, yesterday's candle closed to bullish, which means today's daily bias is towards the bullish direction. This still remains to be the daily bearish daily bearish order block that we should ideally close above if we want to see prices, just flip this from potential resistance into potential support. Now, until this happens, we cannot confidently say yet that the bull run is back. In fact, this wouldn't be necessarily the case. But seeing as how price is currently so close to that level and does not seem to be showing any signs of bearishness yet, this is a really good sign, and it shows an indication that price is going to aim for 130,500 as the weekly target. So I'm just going to draw this out as kind of a weekly liquidity level that we are going to aim towards. I'm calling it right now. Sometime this week, we are going to hit this level. And so granted, we have not gone there yet. There is an opportunity here. We can take advantage of price, where we can ride price from where we are currently to that level. But anyways, in terms of the daily chart, we are definitely looking for bullish trades. And then now, when we go into the 1 hourly chart, there's also something that is really promising. The first thing to understand from the 1 hourly chart so far is that we have a nice value area over here. Now, if you don't understand anything about volume profiling, let me break it down really simply. Whenever you see an area where price has fallen a generally very tight range and did not seem to break out of it very easily, this is known as a value area. Essentially, market participants have mutually agreed, both the buyers and the sellers in the market have agreed that this is a fair price to transact Bitcoin in. And so what this basically means is that in the event where price actually returns back to the value area, that's going to act as a zone support, because currently we have very clearly broke out of the value area. Now, sometimes it may not be a breakout. In fact, a lot of times it tends to not be a breakout, because the way that you use a value area is actually can be demonstrated in two examples. First one is when you break out of the value area, you tend to go to the other side of the value area. Essentially, instead of your typical freemium discount where you draw FID from here to here and like anything under the 0.5 is a discount, when it comes to value areas, the discount actually exists beneath the value area, which means that when you get a sweep of the range lows or you get a sweep of the range highs, this is known as your freemium and this is known as your discount. So similar kit, once you go underneath the value area, that is your discount zone, and boom, price kicks off. So far what we can see is that we already had a couple of instances where price actually dealt with the value area, but so far this is looking like a pretty solid breakout. So in the event where you retrace back into the value area, this is where I would like to see price actually bounce. So that level is going to be $11,300. Outside of that, I can potentially mark out a further gap right here, also around the area of 111,200. So yeah, essentially this is going to be the level that we're going to look price come back into before you look for a bounce. And outside of that, not too much, like price is just going to be reaching for this level. So just to translate this into how you can take advantage of this for today, seeming like price has been going for a accumulation breakout, potentially continuation kind of profile for today. Essentially, instead of this being manipulation, price distributes to the downside. Granted, our daily bias is bullish today. Essentially, we are just looking for retraces into either one of these levels and price to continue going high. And I'm not sure if price is going to actually hit this target, but again, this is a weekly target. Just like how we always do it, just look for a 2-off. Whatever trade that you do take, if you get 2 units of reward for every unit of risk put on, then that's all you need. Just to show you how this would look like. If I, let's say, put my entry for the depth and I place my stop loss under there, you can see this number right now is a 1T11. This is a 1.11 risk reward. If I leave it up, this is going to be a 2 risk reward. So pretty straightforward. This is all you aim for. Essentially, you're going to look for price to return into either one of these areas in between the hours of 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Once that happens, you're going to look for a bullish change in state of delivery. Essentially, just some kind of indication on the 5-minute chart that price is showing you price is actually moving towards the bullish direction. Essentially, we want to see bullish order blocks being respected. We want to see high highs, high lows. And once that happens, then yeah, you're free to get in. Although, to be fair, if there was one piece of advice that I could give you is that I've actually crunched the numbers recently, and I think out of the last 10 weeks or so, every single call that I've made on Monday has kind of failed in general, because Monday tends to be days without news. It also tends to set the opening range for the week, and it tends to, well, just like similarly how we don't trade the Asia session because it is the accumulation session of the day and things are a little less high probability. We treat Monday the same. It's kind of the accumulation range of the week. And because of that, our win rate has been pretty low. I think around 70% with the last 10-week period. So generally, I do try to avoid trading Mondays purely because there is no news. In price action, there's people more choppy. This is definitely the case today as well. There's no news today and tomorrow. So ideally, the best trading days for this week is going to be on Wednesday, Thursday, as well as Friday. And that's going to be the days where I wouldn't be much more aggressive. Those are the days where you get really clean moves, just like what we saw last Friday with NFP. If there's one piece of advice that I have to give you guys, it is to play it safe, especially for today, which is why we're going to take a look at Ethereum real quick and just to see if there's any other setups. So Ethereum is definitely super choppy, much more choppy compared to Bitcoin, much less clear direction. In fact, if you take a look at Ethereum right now, this is horrible. Like, this is exactly the type of chart that you want to avoid trading. And so I don't think there's too much to talk about here. In terms of the daily chart, yeah, again, Ethereum's just a bit too early in the cycle for us to make any reasonable calls. So not going to talk too much about this one, but Solana is definitely looking much more clean compared to Bitcoin and Ethereum. So just if you guys remember, like I did make a video on Solana saying that, hey, with this candle close right here, you have actually gotten a daily changing state of delivery towards the upside. And right now, so far, Solana is definitely looking like a little spring, coiling up for an explosive move. So if there is one chart at the moment, in terms of the large caps that I would focus on, it's definitely going to be Solana. So daily chart, you are definitely bullish because of a bullish candle close. And on the 1 hourly, there are very clear order blocks that you're going to return to. So for the setup for today is going to be pretty straightforward. If you return to $208, then this is where you're going to look for a bounce for price to actually go higher. Now, doesn't need to come all the way down here. Price could literally just start bouncing or like just continue the bullish momentum today and just go all the way up. But in the event that you retrace into here, 7 to 10 a.m., you start seeing bullish indication, then take a trade towards the long side, and your target for today is going to be pretty straightforward. It'll be right here at $213, or rather 212.8. Now again, depending on when you see this video, Solana could have, just continue to make high highs and high lows, or just continue to respect the bullish order box and the bullish order flow. If that is the case, just continue to ride Solana towards the upside, and I think you're going to be pretty good. If there is a trade that I will prioritize today, so maybe going to be Solana. But outside of that, I'm definitely going to be updating on Twitter as we go along the rest of today. And outside of that, if you've been hearing me stutter a little bit more than usual, or just speak a little bit softer or like slower than usual, I've actually been super sick starting like yesterday night. Basically just been lying in bed all day. Still wanted to get this video out there, but like hopefully we'll be back tomorrow much better. If there is, for any reason, I do not update anything on Twitter later on, just understand that I'm probably going to be in bed. But like sickness is not going to, like a fever is not going to prevent me from taking trades. So most likely I'll still be on Twitter. But outside of that, guys, see you in tomorrow's video. And just remember, you want to be trading on the news days. And those days are going to be coming starting Wednesday. And outside of that, do go get more rest. Ciao, ciao.